You're making me laugh. Hi everybody, and thank you for tuning in to our second UCA live event. This is an opportunity for you guys to ask our students here questions about student life and studying at UCA. Thank you to those of you who have already sent in questions via our social media. We'll start with the questions that we didn't actually get to answer last time we did an event like this, and then we'll move on to the new ones that come in today, or have come in today earlier. If through this live broadcast, however, you think of a question that you would like us to answer, then please send it in via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, just using the hashtag UCA Live. Alternatively, if you do have a question, you can ask it on our website on the live stream page. Now, as you can see, I am joined again by some of our ambassadors. You might recognise some of them from last time. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves, say which campus you study at and the course you are currently studying?
Hi, my name is Amina. I study at UCA Rochester and my first year of Fashion Atelier.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a third year digital film and screen art student here at UCA Farnham.
Hey, my name's Toby. I study photography at Farnham.
Hi, my name's Eleanor. I'm from UCA Canterbury and I'm an extended diploma year 2 student.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Let's get on with the first question. So the first one is from Alison via email. I'm an international student. I'm attending UCA Epsom in September 2017 for fashion journalism. I was just curious what a weekly class schedule is like at UCA. Are there scheduled classes, lectures, Monday through Friday? Who'd like to take this one?
It totally depends on your course. The timetable changes between each course and within each year of the course. During my first year, I had around 4 days of scheduled lectures. So that's lectures, workshops, and studio time, where you're expected to go in of your own accord and do your work.
Oh, anyone else?
I mean, it's the same for us. If you're doing FE rather than higher education, then you're in 4 days a week and 1 day to do functional skills if you haven't got that by then. So yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Okay, and as you go through the years, so those of you who are sort of not first years, does the contact hour time go down, or do you normally have quite full weeks as you go into your second year and your third year?
Definitely in my third year, I didn't spend as much time in university as I did in my first year, but you've got a lot of independent time, so you're going to be spending a lot more time at home or in the library getting the work done, like compared to the first year where you're scheduled in and you have to be in 3 days a week, compared to second, third year where you may be in once a week. Yeah.
Cool. Great, thanks guys. So the next question has come in from Kelly on Twitter. If my course is at Rochester, will I need to travel to other campuses?
Well, it depends on your course, to be honest. It depends on what you do. And I don't think, I do Fashion Atelier, so I don't go to any other UCA campuses for my work, basically. So it does depend on your course and if you want to actually go to the other campuses as well.
Have any of you guys had to travel to other campuses for your work or courses?
No.
No?
A couple of times, but it's been organised by the uni. Yeah, we've gone a couple of times, but it's the uni's done coach trips, so we haven't had to get there ourselves. They've kind of got us there.
I know as well, like some FE courses, if you want to go and visit a different campus or maybe on an open day, that sometimes the course leaders will sort that out for you and take you to a different campus for the internal progression scheme. So yeah, that is an option as well if you're doing FE. So the next one's from Kiara on Snapchat. At the end of the 3 years for TV and film production, do students create a group project or a single project?
This is actually one of our newer courses, so we don't actually have a third year group yet. But based on the current film course, I think it's fairly safe to say that you would have one big project at the end, or at least have a group project at the end, because that's how you work in the industry. So I don't see them going away from that anytime soon.
Great. And do you guys do like personal projects as well?
Yeah. This year in particular, I'm actually working on 2 kind of big group films. And then alongside that, I've got a personal project that kind of runs along the entire year. So during pre-production for these other 2 films, I haven't been needed as much because I'm a post-production person. So I've been spending all of my time in post-production for my own film. So I've got like a constant role of work throughout the year.
Cool, great, thank you. So the next question has come in from Melvin from Facebook. How much support is there for finding work and employment after graduation? Now, Toby, you're a graduate, so how can you answer this question?
It's really down to the individual. So if you leave university and you really want to get into the creative field, there's a lot of opportunity. But if you come out and you're thinking the university will spoon feed you to get a job, then you're going to be pretty wrong. So there's a lot of self-ambition. And as well, like I, as a photography student, I did work experience in my second year, and you build contacts from that. Then into the third year, you get more contacts. So you have to do a lot of, I want to say, sort of pre-production before you leave university. You're not going to leave university, jump into a job. You have to prepare it before you leave.
So you've got to have like that ambition and drive to want to get work, and there is the real help there to help you get it, but you have to want to go and get it and go and find it yourself.
Yeah, the university will obviously help you and support you on the way, but they're not going to give it to you. They're going to give you the sort of the method how to do it, but not the real sort of, here's the phone number for that person you need to go and find. They when I did work experience, they said, we've got a huge list of employees you can contact, but it doesn't mean you can't contact other people as well. So I contacted 80 people and I got 1 response.
Wow.
So rejection was a big thing, but you kind of get over that.
I think it's the same with all creative industries. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is from Tom via email. Would you recommend going to an open day?
Yes, totally. Mostly because you get to like see the actual where you want to go firsthand, because that's always good actually, to actually go there and speak to the people who are studying there or who have studied there already, and then you get to have a feel of the environment, and you also have course talks, which is a good thing, because then whatever course you want to go into, the tutors are there, and they've got designated times during the open days where you actually have course talks. You go into the section where all the rooms where you're meant to be, and your tutors speak to you about the course you want to do, which is really good, because then you can ask them questions even after the talks as well. So it's more like you get more first-hand information, which you wouldn't get from not going, if you get what I mean. Yeah.
Anyone else want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was going to say you get to meet the students. Depends what day you go on. For instance, you go on a Wednesday open day, you get to see what the university looks like during a working week. And I think that's a good idea to see where all the students are, how everyone sort of communicates with everyone. But as well, on a Saturday, it's a very, you've only got the student ambassadors there, and they can give you first-hand advice on, maybe you come here to do fashion and there's a better course that they can advise you on. So definitely come, because you get to see accommodation as well. There is limited photos of accommodation on the website, but you get to go and see sort of what an average accommodation room looks like.
Cool. I'm just going to jump in here and say that our last open day of the year is actually this Wednesday coming up, so the 14th of December. So if you do want to come to an open day and you're free on Wednesday, Wednesday, then do come along in like 2 days' time. So yeah, come along and you can see all the facilities for yourself. And we also in the new year are going to have 360 virtual tours. So if you are an international student or you can't, or you are up north and you can't come down, then you are able to see all our facilities, including the studios and I believe accommodation. You'll be able to see all of those in like a sort of 3D kind of picture scape. It's really cool. We saw it the other day. So yeah, you'll get to see that as well. But let's move on to the next question. Maria from Facebook. I want to apply for fashion design or atelier. What kind of portfolio do you require, and what are the differences between the two courses?
Okay. If you're going to apply for a fashion design, fashion atelier course, just bring in all of the work you have, basically all of the work that's, whether it's even if it's not even fashion, like all of the artwork that you've got, everything. And during the interviews, the portfolio portfolio interviews, actually, you tend to speak to the tutors, and you can actually explain to them what exactly it is that you like, your passion for it. Basically, you let them see what you've got, and you make sure that you speak about your work in the best regard you can possibly, trying to sell yourself really, but yeah. So I wouldn't say there's a certain thing you have to bring in, but make sure you've got some fashion work, obviously, and just bring in all the work you've got. And the difference between fashion design and fashion atelier is fashion design is more of a designing course, and that's what I believe anyway. And but fashion atelier is slightly different because you do the designing, but you're also learning the basically the technical aspects of garment construction. How do you explain it? It's like the detailed works, like about how clothes are basically put together, and you're learning more to be a couture than you are to be like maybe a high street retail designer. But for fashion design, they do tend to they can be high street. They learn to be high street retail designers as well as couturiers, but we're more focused on being couturiers and like using the best standard of basically everything, and garment finishing and trimmings and all of that.
And making those one-off pieces, the runway pieces, rather than a mass like being able to make it for mass production kind of stuff. Cool.
I think the other big thing to say about portfolios is that they really just kind of need to show who you are. The tutors can see in your portfolio from what you bring that you've got potential there, even if you've not got experience in the area. So it's just showing who you are and how you like to express yourself creatively, really.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So the next question is from Andy via Facebook. Do students have to buy your own Adobe software, or do the university give you license to things like Photoshop and Premiere?
Yeah. The university does have the Adobe suite on all of its computers on campus. You do not get your own subscription to it personally, but the majority of the time you are on campus to use it. I only recently started paying for my Adobe subscription because I was doing freelance work and I needed it out of hours. Other than that, you are given studio time and you are given all the facilities you need to do anything in your course on campus. You're not expected to have any of your own equipment or software, especially the high-end stuff. When you start getting into more specialized software, it's not feasible for you to have your own copy. There is an Adobe student discount, which everyone has seen and everyone loves.
How much is the discount?
It's like £15 a month, and you get the entire Adobe system. It does go up after like a year, but if you are a film student, it is worth the investment. But if you're not, if you're only going to be editing the odd picture, then I'd stay on campus and do it here. Campus, at least Farnham anyway, is open till around 8 o'clock every night. So it's a rare occasion you need it later than that.
Cool, thank you. Thanks for that. So the next question is from Rosie on Twitter. Do you have the opportunity to work with students on other courses? So is there collaboration between courses? You're all nodding, so I'll leave it to you guys to decide who to answer that one.
Especially on Canterbury, we're quite a small campus, and all the facilities are open access. So everyone ends up using the technical workshops together. So things like the 3D wood workshop and all the Mac rooms and all the sculpture workshops and all those kind of things are all shared between all the courses that we have. So you definitely end up interacting with people at other levels. So there can be foundation students working next to master students and higher, and we all kind of integrate in together. And actually it's great because you can bounce ideas off each other, and someone might just go, why don't you try doing it like that, because it might be easier, and it can completely make your project 100% better. So yeah, I think we do interact quite a bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also on my course, because my course is a little bit smaller than film production, occasionally we'll get to set and we'll just need a few extra pairs of hands, or we need someone who's specialised in something that we just happen to not have a specialist free for. So occasionally we'll have film production come on our crew. We've worked with illustration for storyboards. We've worked with graphics for poster design and marketing. We've had animation students work with us as well to help with visual effects. So it's a very much a community effort to make these amazing grad films.
The acting and performance, so you've got a whole
Yes.
bank of actors there who are probably desperate to get film
Yes,
credits on the CV.
One of the lead characters in one of my grad films is actually a second-year acting and performance student.
Great.
So she's getting a full film as the main
Brilliant.
character.
What a great opportunity. And I guess with fashion and photography at Rochester, you get the fashion part of it and the photography, so you can have the photographers taking pictures of your garments. So it's perfect.
That's usually that's where the collaboration is usually, like with the other students is usually that. But if you do want to work, because we also work with Adobe softwares, and to be fair, we're quite rubbish with them. So we do need some help with maybe like with film students or like photography students who use that like a lot, so we can speak to them and be like, okay, help us with this, or we need. But then there's also the lynda.com, which is also a good software that the school, this university pays for, like you said, with the Adobe softwares. The university actually has that as well, so you can basically go on there and it gives you like tutorials on loads of different things that have to do with the softwares. Lynda.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool, thanks guys. So the next question is Victoria via Facebook. Do you have any tips for having a successful interview?
Be confident. I definitely think when you go in, don't think of it as an interview. Think of it as just a casual meeting with your future tutor. Because if you go in really nervous, you're going to kind of find it hard. I know it's easy for me to say that now, but as soon as you go in there, just be proud of your work. If you're going to be showing your work, just be what's the word? So if they're going through your work, or you're going through your film, showing some fashion off, just be, if you say, I'm really proud of this. So if they can see potential in you, they're more likely to bring you on than if you are, when I say too good at the moment, they're not going to see much development. And that's what you're going to find at university is, if you could define university in a word, it'd be development. Because when I first came here, I didn't have as much technical skills as I do now. So, and that was because I learned and developed with my degree.
I think as well, like if you've ever been for a job interview, it's that kind of passion and drive. And I think even if, you're not feeling that confident, if you can show that you are really passionate about your work, that is so important, and passionate to learn as well, and also some preparation as well, just like knowing what to say about each different piece that you've put in your portfolio, so you're kind of prepared, but that will just make you feel better beforehand.
Even when you're at home, just get your parents or one of your siblings to just ask random questions about your work, so you get into the sort of the feel of what a tutor may ask you. So it's like revision on cue cards. Get them to read these questions out, and it'll make you feel more confident when you go in there. You think, I know what to say. They may come up with a question that will stumble you, and that's perfectly fine. I think we've all been to an interview where we're like, yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. But again, you're going to learn that over development.
Yeah, and I think you should also make sure you have an order to which how you speak about your work as well. So everything is not just like thrown, like placed, scattered or anything. So because that kind of helps you out as well, because you're like, oh, okay, this is what I've arranged it in this order, so I can speak about it this way. And most of the time, it's usually like from maybe your least favorite work to your best work or something. Just speak about it that way, and also make sure you stick with the preparation, the interview guidelines. You have to stick with that as well.
Great. Thanks, guys. So the next question is from Flavia via email. I have visited the British Council exhibition in Cologne a few weeks ago, and I've been really impressed by you. For an application, I will need to provide a portfolio including a show reel of my previous knowledge. Is there any possibility I can extend this knowledge, e.g. a workshop? So is it going... I think that's to go on a workshop to then get some more experience.
So this is for a film, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming so, yes. It doesn't
Yeah.
actually say, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
Workshops, I'm not entirely sure if you could go... I'm not sure what workshops exist outside of actually doing a course. But if you do want to just expand your show reel, I just recommend making stuff. I know that seems really like obvious to say, but anything you can make. So even if like your phone probably has a camera on it, you can go out and make something. You can use very basic editing software such as Movie Maker or iMovie. As long as you get your idea across, it doesn't matter how high the production value is. As long as you can talk about it in your interview and say, look, I'm aware that I didn't have a really fancy camera or I didn't have the most amazing sound, but this is what I was trying to do, and I've learned this, and this from this experience, and I think this will help me when I come to do my degree.
Great, yeah, thank you. Just to let everybody know that Snapchat is extremely busy tonight, so there's loads of questions coming in. We are getting through them though, but just to let you know, Snapchat is very, very busy. So the next question is, Jess on Twitter, what accommodation options are there for first year students? I think all of you can probably answer that one.
You get, for the first year students, the accommodation in Rochester is definitely there. Like, you can apply to that, and you have to apply to it earlier on in the year, and then you pay certain just to make sure that you're definitely going to get it. But yeah, you do have accommodation for the first year, like that's standard. Yeah.
And there's accommodation on all 4 campuses, so that is something that is included in all 4 campuses.
Yeah, I applied to accommodation really late. So if you're panicking because you haven't already applied to accommodation, it's fine. I applied to accommodation end of August and still got a place. Not something I recommend, but I still got a room. The accommodation in Farnham is actually arranged in houses, which I think is a bit strange for university, but I personally liked living in a house. It felt more homey than living in an apartment. My accommodation cost around $4,500 for the entire year, which it's cheaper than what I'm paying now, which is crazy considering I lived not even a minute away from my classroom. But yeah.
Yeah, Canterbury's got 2 lots of accommodation. One is literally right in the middle of the campus. You could roll out of the door and be in the studio within about 10 seconds. It's literally in the middle of the campus. And the other one is half an hour's walk away. And yeah, it's a first year at Canterbury. You get precedence over everyone else for getting a place. And if you're underage or an international student, you're more likely to get a place on the actual site as opposed to the one that's a little bit further away. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So my next question is from Jojo on Snapchat. Do you hold interviews or do you get offered a place based on your UCAS application?
It depends when you apply. For instance, if you apply through Clearing, they're most likely not going to give you an interview, but to really look at your work. But if you apply UCAS before January the 15th, I think that's the deadline. Then you will have to come in for an interview, come to an applicant day, and they run from December to April this year.
Cool. Anyone else?
I applied through clearing and still got in, so it's not the end of the world if you are applying through clearing. But if you go through clearing, you are asked to upload a selection of your work for them to view online. And I did it through a website, and I didn't actually have an interview. The work that I put up on the website was enough to get me in, which was nice. But it's kind of being aware that it's not the end of the world if you are late, but equally apply as soon as you can, because you can't guarantee all the places will still be there.
Cool, great, thanks guys. So I think we're going to be coming back to you, Eleanor, for the next question. I'm looking at architecture at Canterbury. What is the city like?
Oh, Canterbury is amazing. It's actually the biggest city in the UK for students. It's the biggest percentage of students in a city in the UK, I think. Was the last time I checked, it was the highest.
I think that's right.
And there's 3 or 4 universities very, very close together in Canterbury. So student nightlife is everywhere. All the bars have a student night. Some of the other unis, their bars that are associated with them have special occasion nights. So we have Glitter Bomb, which is a gay bar that happens every Tuesday, and they have drag queen acts and stuff. So that's really popular because it's amazing. But there's loads of stuff goes on in the actual UCA bar itself. Our SU's quite active, so there's always stuff going on there too. And then there's a number of clubs and stuff. And
what about like shops and places to eat?
From the campus, you are a 10-15 minute walk right into the middle of the city centre, and there's a massive shopping area right there. And then the entire high street is literally in front of you, so you're not short of anything to do in Canterbury.
Yeah, what about like cinema, theatre, sort of the more cultural
cinema,
stuff?
5-10 minutes walk down the road on the same road as the uni is. What were the other things?
Like a theatre?
Marlow Theatre is Canterbury's theatre, and students, there's a special discovery night for, and I think it's £8 for a ticket, but then you get West End shows touring that come to Canterbury.
Amazing.
So you can go and see a West End show for £8, which is amazing.
Sounds like a good place to live.
And then you've got all the architecture of the cathedral and the old town and everything as well, so there's so much to see and do. You're never going to be bored.
Amazing, thank you. So the next one is from Georgina on Snapchat. Should you annotate the pieces in your portfolio?
If you do want to, yes. But, well, it could give you a sort of head start on what to talk about if you annotate them, because you already have a little like writing there. So that can, because sometimes you might get nervous during your interviews. So that can help you because you already have a little note saying, oh, this is what it's about. And you're like, oh, yeah. And then you just keep talking about it. So if you do want it, then yes, you can. I believe you can. Well, I'm not sure about film or photography or the rest of them, but for my course, yes, I believe you can.
Yeah, if you are going to do that, I don't recommend writing like full paragraphs of text, just because it'll sound quite robotic and rehearsed during the interview, and you kind of want it to be a bit more relaxed and to have it sound like your actual opinion rather than something you've like stood and crafted over the course of an hour of like studying your work. But so yeah, trying to keep it just to a few words to kind of jog your memory, and then let your like the speech flow as it were.
I think it also comes down to how you want to present your work. For instance, if you want a sort of a glossy looking portfolio, it'd probably be a good idea not to put annotations in. It may give a completely different look. But if you want to show your coursework, obviously you're going to put your annotations in. They can see sort of what level of annotations you're sort of reflective you're writing at. There's 2 ways to present your work. It comes down to a personal choice at the end of the day.
And you get to chat about your work as well. So if you don't annotate it, then you can just talk and then point to and do the annotation that way as well, I guess. Or have like cue cards, or have it on a separate piece of paper so you can explain it so you don't ruin your work by writing all over it. So yeah, there's loads of different options. I think it's more about what you feel comfortable doing. And then at the end of the day, it's just showing off your work to the best ability, really. So yeah. So the next question is from Sophie on Snapchat. I'm interested in fashion design, but haven't got any experience in design. Would it make more sense to do a foundation year first, or can you go straight onto the course without any experience? I'm doing art-related subjects, just not fashion-specific.
I think I would say, like, to go for the foundation course first. Definitely go for the foundation course first, because that happened with me as well, because I did only art-based and music, actually. Art, photography and music. That was what I did in my A-level, so that was not fashion. So I had to go in for the foundation course first. I had already decided, like, the year before, saying, okay, I'm definitely going for a foundation course, because I don't want to go in there and be, you know, when you're almost confused as to, okay, what are they doing? Oh, I don't know what they're doing, or I've never heard of this before, you know. So it kind of gives you a bit of a jump start, like a kickstart, if you go for a foundation course. So I would strongly advise to go for a foundation course first. But if you don't want to go for a foundation course first, then you should, I believe you should put some of your fashion work in there, even if you've been doing your artwork as well. You're going to also be able to speak about it. So that's good, because then you can show that, okay, you're really interested in fashion, but at the moment you're doing art and everything, and you kind of say to them that, okay, I can fuse these things together with my fashion, you know, which is going to make it sound really good. So that's what I think, really.
Because you might have done like fashion drawings at home, for example, just not coursework.
Yeah.
I think one of the other big things to say is that doing a foundation year can completely change your idea of what you want to do. So I did the extended diploma, so I'm now in the same classes as all the foundation in my second year of the diploma, and I started my extended diploma convinced I was going to do fashion, and I'm now an animation student, which is a big change. But you do carousels in both of the courses, and basically you get to try these different pathways and try different things you've not tried before. So I'd never done animation in any serious manner at all. I'd done the stupid little flick book animations that you had on computers at primary school when you could animate stick men. But I'd never done it properly, and sitting down in those rotations and actually trying it, I fell in love with it, and the way you could actually tell a story that actually I found that it was happening naturally, and I was doing a lot of work and it didn't really feel like a lot of work. And yeah, so I've kind of fallen in love with animation. So I'm not doing fashion anymore, despite having spent the last 2 years of my life thinking that was what I was going to do. So I'd say if you're considering it, definitely go for the foundation, because it gives you that extra little platform and you might surprise yourself with something else you want to do.
Yeah, I was just going to add that doing a foundation it's got a lot of perks. So I came in to do a degree course straight away, and I found that really scary, because I went from college doing 1 unit per term to 4 units per term, and I was like, you want me to do those 4 units all at the same time? And they was like, yeah. I was like, okay, this is going to take a bit of time. But I think going to doing a foundation course, if it's at Farnham or Epsom, it gives you a head start and gives you an idea of what the university is expecting from you. So if you do the foundation for a year, then go on to the degree, you kind of have the upper hand, and that's a really, real good advantage. So it really depends if you want to spend another year in education, or do you want to get straight out there and get that job.
Great, thanks guys. So the next question has come in from Oren on Snapchat. What's the best course for me if I'm interested in pursuing a career in screenwriting? Looking over at you.
I think the best course for screenwriting would probably be film production. DFSA, we do have script writing, but it's not part of any of our modules. The way the screenwriting works in film production, as from a third year's perspective, is the way all the grad films are made at UCA is over the summer, that's when the majority of the screenwriting takes place. So the screenwriting doesn't happen on campus. It happens when you're at home and you've already gone through, like, you've already picked your favorite people to work with, and you're like, you toss ideas around, you're like, okay, this sounds like a good idea, and then over summer you'll go through several drafts of a script, and then when you come back to start your third year, make your big grad film, what happens is a group of students actually get together and become a committee. So the script committee actually meet at the beginning of the year. They go through all the scripts, kindly tear them to shreds, and then put them back together again into an amazing film. And then about 10 of those out of around 40 are chosen. So it's definitely a possibility to go into script writing, and you can do it alongside all of your other units. I'm not sure there's a unit specialism for it, though. That's something that you'd have to come to an open day and talk to the course leader about.
Cool, and you can come to an open day on the 14th of December, like I mentioned before, but I thought I'd just pop it in there again. Okay, so next question is from Lana on Snapchat. So what are the halls like at UCA? So we've already touched on accommodation, but like what are the sort of living arrangements like perhaps in each different campus?
Coming from Farnham, which has 377 rooms, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's a lot. When you got like 2,000 people here, it caters for pretty much the whole first year. But accommodation pretty much is, you've got a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, 2 toasters, 2 ovens, a lot of 2 of everything. Just the 1 door though, and 1 window. But inside your room, you've got a sink, a bed, wardrobe, drawers, desk, the most important thing, and a chair. Then more in the sort of how the house is comprised or put together. On each floor, you could have between 7 or 8 people. Some houses have 3 on each floor, then have the kitchen on the top floor. I was in a word house with a kitchen on each floor. I don't understand why. I think there was like, we've got too much kitchen stuff. So they've put like a kitchen on each floor, but definitely comes to an open day. You get to go down with the accommodation team. You get to see sort of what the vibe is. And obviously at different campuses, I haven't been to every campus, so I can't comment, but Epsom do have nice accommodation as well. Yeah.
And how about Rochester?
Rochester's is, well, basically they're on each floor, they've got 4 buildings, I believe, and on each floor of those 4 buildings, because I think they're like 8 stories or something. So on each floor of them, you've got 3 flats, and in those 3 flats, well, you've got 3 flats, and then in 3 flats you have 6 rooms.
Okay.
So there's a lot of rooms on one floor.
18 people per floor.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and in each flat of 6, you have you have a kitchen, and to my knowledge, all the rooms are en suite. So it's really good. You don't have to share a bathroom. So you do have to share the kitchen though. And compared to Farnham's, we do have 2 windows.
What just happened there?
Although we have 1 door as well. Yeah. And it's really good because obviously there's 6 people in the flat, and then the kitchens are really big. They're big enough for all 6 of you and friends, so it's good. You can have a little mini party in there, which loads of people do. So yeah, that's basically. And we have a great view. If you're lucky, you could get the window that in your room. You could get a window that overlooks the river, because the River Medway is right behind it, so it's really nice.
It's a nice view.
Yeah.
Cool. And how about Canterbury?
Canterbury's much the same as Rochester, really.
Okay.
So there's the block of halls that's actually in the site is kind of, it's not huge, but it's because it's mainly for specific groups of people. But one of the amazing things about that is there are completely mobility-friendly flats in that block. So we've got a couple of guys on campus here in wheelchairs and stuff, and they can very easily get in and out of the halls because they're all ramped and everything.
Great.
So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have our 360 virtual tours coming, and one of them will be of accommodation, so you'll be able to see that if you can't actually get down for an open day and have a accommodation tour. So if you're an international student or just can't make one of the open days, that will be available in the new year. So the next question is from Els on Snapchat. Do you think it's better to go to sixth form or to do a pre-degree course? Well, actually, you're doing that, aren't you? So you're probably the best person to answer.
So I think it depends if you know completely what you want to do. If you know that you definitely want to do the arts, then I'd say do the pre-degree, because it's just the whole environment of coming into a university is different to school. At school, your teachers very much kind of tell you what they want you to produce, and then when you come into an environment like UCA, the tutors aren't there to dictate what you create. They help guide you by giving you projects, but they want you to find out about being who you are as an artist and who you are creatively. So I'd say if you know you definitely want to do the arts, it's a much better preparation for uni. But if you don't, then I'd say maybe do the A-levels and consider doing a foundation, because you'll still get the same experience as doing the ED course, but you'll have, obviously it'll be a year later, but you'll have actually decided that that's definitely what you want to do, and that you're not interested in other areas first. The other bonus about doing either the foundation or the extended diploma course is that there's a program called Diploma to Degree. So if you complete the year and pass the course, you get a place on a degree course of your choice at UCA, which is nice because it means I don't have to worry about it now.
And if you complete your foundation course at Canterbury and you want to do the progression to a BA, you don't have to do that at Canterbury. You can go, it's kind of all the courses across the 4 campuses. So say you wanted a break from Canterbury and you wanted to go all the way over to Farnham to do something, then that's absolutely fine. And obviously all the courses aren't offered at every single campus. So you might want to go to do film production. It is only done at Farnham, for example. So yeah, you kind of get the opportunity to go across the country.
Just to add to that, Tui, I did the A-levels and I did a foundation as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, so you can do it that way
I
as
did
well.
enjoy it because I do like being in education for some weird reason, but I did enjoy it a lot. So I enjoyed the A-levels and I enjoyed the foundation a lot, but then the foundation kind of crowned it for me because prior to that, I'd only done art for a year. So it was fair enough that I did 3 years of like honing in on what I really wanted to do art-wise or fashion-wise, because I did know that I was going to go into fashion, but I wasn't completely sure. I thought I was going to go into fashion design, but then it was during the foundation course I realized I wanted to do a fashion and atelier course. So I think it works like it's either you do if I knew about the 2-year because when I moved from Nigeria was when I came in to do the A-level course. So if I knew about the 2-year foundation course, because I thought it was only for 1 year. Actually, I'd never heard of a foundation course before. So I was thinking of A-levels and then go straight in. It was when I was going for open days and for open days basically and course talks that I knew about the foundation course. So it was good that I went for the open days anyway. And but if I did know about the 2-year foundation course, I'm not sure if I would have done an A-levels. Although I did enjoy it, but I'm not sure if I would have.
Yeah, because that's always the option as well. So say you really enjoy the art, say photography, you love photography, but you also want to do biology, for example, because you're scientific, then maybe doing your A-levels first and then coming to do a foundation year and then going on to doing your degree. So you can do that way. So you can still complete the foundation even if you decide to do your A-levels as well. So yeah, there's loads of options.
Yeah, I came straight from A-levels and looking back, I probably should have done a foundation. Foundations weren't something that were advertised to me, so I just didn't know I knew that they existed, but I didn't know what I could do with a foundation degree. I came to UCA through clearing, and that was literally because I changed my mind on the entire career I wanted, like a few days before results day, and I changed everything and just came here and honestly hoped for the best. And it worked out. It did work out in my favor, and I love what I do, but I think a foundation course would have been very beneficial and kind of solidified that before I dive straight into a degree.
Amazing. Cool. Thanks, guys. Oh, sorry, Toby.
I was going to add sort of, if you go to sixth form and then compare it to sort of a pre-degree, there's going to be an attitude sort of difference, because I found at sixth form that there weren't that many mature students there, sort of mentally, that as soon as I came to university, I found people actually want to be here than sort of just scarring around college or sixth form. and it just didn't feel like they wanted to be there. But as soon as I was at university, like the environment, everyone wants to be here because obviously they're paying money. So it kind of sort of turns the tables.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So this one is from Becky on Facebook. I've applied for my foundation at Canterbury for September. Great. What kind of things shall I include in my portfolio? So what sorts of pieces should she include? What did you include in yours?
Mine, well, I was a bit of a strange case. 'Cause, talking about the whole foundation and extended diploma and everything, I actually did in a year of AS to do all the subjects to do medicine before I came to UCA, and then had a massive change of heart going, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to do art, which I love. So I put my portfolio together in a week. So mine had as many drawings of different things in different styles as I could do. So I put in studies of animals like swans in different media, studies of people, stuff that I'd done at GCSE in sketchbooks, pages that I really liked, and a couple of doodle things like mandalas and stuff I'd drawn, just stuff I really enjoyed doing, and then I really just, I don't know, I think it was just stuff I felt I was passionate about, so I felt that it portrayed me the best it could because I was so passionate and loved what I'd done so much. So I think it can be anything really, especially for foundation and pre-degree things. It's not as specific as to what you need, because you try all these different things that you might not ever use again throughout the year, and actually you try lots of different things and find new ways of working anyway. So there's not a real expectation of certain things to be present, I don't think.
Yeah, so like if you've got your GCSE coursework, pages that you're proud of in your sketchbooks, because in GCSE, I remember from GCSE art that we did watercolour, I did silk painting, just like everything that kind of we did and that I was proud of, you can keep all that stuff, any of your A-level art, and then, doodles at home, because obviously if you're artistic and fine art, you probably do doodle at home, and animation and everything, you probably do doodle. And then with your fashion, because obviously you don't study fashion, well, you might not study fashion at A-level, you have your designs that you've done. I
will also add to actually take something quite, if you keep a personal journal or like a day-to-day sort of, not like a journal where all your secrets are, no, but something that is, artsy, something you take around with you to observe, if you're a sort of observant person and you like taking notes as well as like, little scribbles of things and stuff, it's good to actually take that in, because for my foundation, I did take one of those in. I don't do that anymore, I don't know why, but I did take one of those in, and it was really good because I got to speak about it, and I had a drawing that the tutor who was interviewing me at the time really liked, which I'd done the morning of like the interview. So it was just a random person sitting on the train, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to draw this person or something, and I showed it to him. So it was it's really good if you have something personal, because it's very intimate, and it's really like, it shows how much you actually really want to do this, you want to do the course. So yeah.
Cool. Great, guys. I'm just going to just let everyone who's watching at home know that there is I think an end of term party going on. So if you can hear some whoops and cheers, they're all having a great time. So it just shows that our students have like the best time here. They have parties and everything. So if you can just hear like the slight sort of muffled noises of woos and cheers, that is why, but hopefully it's not affecting your viewing experience too much. But great, that's great, guys. Have we finished that question? Have anyone else got anything else to say about that? Nope. Okay, cool. We'll move on. So I think this is one for Amina and for Eleanor. So if you come to do a foundation, is there an opportunity to go on to degree? Now, Eleanor, you touched on that just now. So we'll start with Amina, because you've actually gone through the internal progression scheme, and Eleanor, then we'll go to you because you're actually going to do it. So you're kind of at different places on that kind of scheme at the moment. But let's start with Amina.
Yes, there is an internal progression scheme for UCA foundation students who actually want to go into UCA for the courses, and it's all across the campus, like you mentioned before. So what I did was basically you just go in. doesn't even take up to 10 minutes, to be honest, to apply for it. You just like go onto UCA's website, you know, and then apply for it there. And obviously it has to do with whether you actually pass the course, because if you don't pass the course, I'm not sure what's going to happen, because luckily I did. So, so you have to basically... when you apply for it, when you're done with that, just make sure you don't think like, oh, that's the end of it. Like, it's not gonna, your grades at the end don't get affected because you're automatically in. But that's not it, because you still need to work out, like, you know, what your course, what you're doing at the moment, and then make sure you pass it, to be honest, to actually be able to go through. But it's pretty convenient, to be honest. Yeah.
Cool. And Eleanor?
Yeah, so I'm just deciding where I'm applying, because I'm split between 2 courses, one at Rochester, one here at Farnham. So I've
two
got
courses?
to decide. Animation here at Farnham and computer arts animation at Rochester.
Okay.
So it's kind of broad or specialised. So that's a little bit of a awkward choice at the moment, because I can't quite decide.
And how are you going to make that choice? Are you going to have like tours of the university? Are you going to speak to some of the course leaders? Do they give you help like in the foundation to be able to make that decision?
We've been having loads of the course leaders from different courses come in and talk to us in our pathways on the specialist areas, and it's been quite nice and quite helpful, and a lot of the tutors have given us their emails and stuff, their uni emails, so we can just email them any questions we have about their course or about the course structure or anything like that. But also the foundation tutors also organise trips to other campuses. So we came up here to Farnham a couple of weeks ago and came and invaded a load of the studios when they were filming and animating and all sorts, with a tutor showing us around, but that was obviously really useful. And then they sat down and helped us look through some of our work and see how we could improve what we're doing at the moment. And I think it gives them an idea of what kind of people they might be getting in as well.
Cool.
But then you can also go and find ambassadors and stuff and get hold of them and try and find out what they think about their courses too. So yeah.
Amazing, great, cool, thank you. And that was from Dan on Twitter. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, so thank you, Dan. So the next one is from Ben on Facebook. Are there opportunities for work experience or placements during your course?
My work placement didn't actually come, it's not like a requirement on my course, but I actually found it through the career service, and like it's not actually a work placement, it's in like I want to say a proper job, but it's not. It is a proper job. But I basically found it on the UCA Facebook careers page, and I was like, "Hey, I wanna be an editor. I see you're looking for an editor." And I messaged the careers page, and I was like, "Hey, this is my CV. This is my showreel. What should I change? What should I keep? Should I make a website?" And they helped me out, and now that's my job. And I do that alongside my degree. And that was actually, the company is actually a company that was set up by film production graduates, that I found out once I had applied to. I didn't actually know that when I originally asked for the job. But yeah.
What about with photography? Is there opportunity for work placements and
definitely in the second year it's really sort of pushed. You get a work placement, even though it's not a requirement, they really push it. And if you don't, it's going to be one of those things. Like I mentioned earlier, I emailed 80, 90 people and I got one response, maybe 2. But from that one person, basically I get to go to sort of photography studios and look after the studio. And the other day I got to sort of work with Vogue and I completely freaked out. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is cool. So yeah, like, you don't realise from university your work is not far away. You just need to network. And I think we'll all agree that networking here is a big thing.
Yeah.
That even you'll sort of think, that person is really talented, I've got to network them, use them on my film. And that's the same thing when maybe you'll go to a work experience and realise I really need to stay in contact with these people, because as soon as I leave, I kind of need a job. And that's one of the things you'll be doing, just network. It's a bit like Hollywood sometimes around here. Yeah.
Cool, great, thanks guys. Oh, have you got something to say as well?
Oh
Nina?
yeah, we do have for fashion atelier, and I believe for the fashion design course as well. You have a unit in fashion atelier in your second year where you do get to do a work placement, like an industry placement. Now, it's either you do that, although it's really really pushed. It's either you do that or you do you start your research for your third year, for your dissertation or something for your third year. Which I'm like, why do that when you can do a placement anyway when it's part of the unit? So I would push for that as well. Yeah. I haven't got to that stage yet. Hopefully I'll be able to get a work placement somewhere now. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is a lot of us put our work up on Instagram or Facebook and have kind of separate pages for our work, and quite a few of us end up getting commissions and stuff that way. So I've got one at the moment that I'm working on for pantomime. They've asked me to animate Beelzebub, or the devil, for the beginning of the pantomime, so they're going to project it onto the back of the stage.
That's brilliant.
So, and
That's
that was
a good
because I put my
credit.
stuff up on Facebook, so definitely worth keeping a blog or an Instagram account.
Yeah,
Because it
keep
comes
it
through
open.
that way.
And it doesn't have to be your personal one. You could have like a, your artwork one if you want to keep your own personal stuff private.
And certain courses like the animation ones really encourage you to blog your entire experience throughout uni as well. I think because it helps you it helps you to process what you've been doing, and also when potential employers then look at it, they can see how you work and like what you've experienced and how they can take that forward. So yeah.
And tying that in with your portfolio, if you already have a blog, because everything is online, everyone has everything online. If you already have a blog and you're thinking of applying, you can always bring a link to your blog to your interview and show your pieces of work from your blog, and then you've got all the writing there as well. So you can, it's like a script for you. But that's something else as well. If you do already have a blog, you can use that as well. So I think we'll move on to the next question. Right, Lauren Marie on email. I'm thinking of applying to UCA next year. I have a huge passion for textiles, in particular making and designing costumes. What course would you recommend to me? So it's more costume design rather than fashion design.
I believe theatre and set production is, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I believe that would be the best course for you, because that's what they do basically.
Yeah,
and they
look
work
up the
with textiles.
actual name of the course. It's like design for something. I'm trying to do this with my left hand. Yes, it is. Yeah, design for theatre, film and performance.
Yeah.
So that's the BA Hons, and that's over at Rochester. So design for theatre, film and performance. So yeah.
And you're just 2 floors down from the textile students, so you can always walk up and, like Toby said about networking, you can always walk up there and be like, okay, I don't really know, maybe if you have a costume in mind and you're not sure for the textiles or what to use for it, just go up there and then speak to them. So yeah, it's really, I believe, that would be the best course, to be honest.
Cool. And this is our final question for this evening, because we are coming up to 8 o'clock, so it doesn't feel like an hour, does it? It's gone so quickly. So the last question is from Jess via email. Are there many clubs I can join? So I think we mean like societies, clubs, so kind of a bit more of the like away from your course, but kind of artsy stuff. Or sports or anything.
Goodness, there are so many. You will never there's something on every night, I swear. And I remember last year being really surprised when I found a poster up on the bullet board at UCA Canterbury saying, "We're looking for members to join the Quidditch team."
Amazing.
Which is fantastic, because why not? But I remember thinking that was rather amazing. But it just shows there's clubs for pretty much anything going on. Yeah. And there's always a willingness of the student union. If you want to set up a club that doesn't exist, they'll help you do it as well. So
cool. I know that they have a, correct me if I'm wrong, is it a drink and draw night at Farnham? So I think they set up in the SU with like reams of paper all over the tables. You get your pint, your wine, your vodka, whatever, and just draw. And probably as you get more and more drunk, it probably gets more and more interesting. But yes, it sounds really cool. It sounds really fun.
There's even a spiritual society. So the arts sort of university really does take it to town. That if you think, like you're saying, that if it's not there, just create it. There's going to be some wacky student out there who's like, yes, I love it, let's have that.
What about sports? Is there sports societies?
In Rochester, there's a netball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a netball, and there's pole fitness.
Pole fitness.
as well as yoga.
It's one of the best sports. Makes
As
very
well
strong.
as yoga.
There's-
And, yeah.
At Farnham, there's rugby and football,
Okay.
netball. So, yeah.
So yeah, everyone's kind of catered for. Great. Well, that's all we've got time for this evening, everybody. If your question wasn't answered this evening, don't worry, we will respond to you individually and get that question answered for you. We've really hope that tonight was useful, and thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget that our last open day of the year is on the 14th of December. That's this coming Wednesday, and that's across all 4 campuses, so Canterbury, Rochester, Epsom and Farnham, also at the Maidstone TV studios as well. So we have those running, so do come along if you can. If you can't make an open day, then do remember to check out our virtual 360 tours when they come out in the new year. So yes, thank you very much for tuning in, and Merry Christmas from all of us.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.